63 years ago, brave idealist leaders decided that they had enough of oppression, tyranny, corruption, and suffering, and led a raid on the Moncada barracks in Cuba. Among those brave young leaders were Fidel and Raul Castro, who, based on their own upbringing, really would have been comfortable in life had they not even embarked upon a revolution. But so affected by the condition of the Cuban people, those two brothers, along with other revolutionaries, decided that they had within them the power and the commitment to end the oppression. That revolution could have ended on the 26th of July, 1953. Because that raid, in a military sense, was an absolute disaster. But in a political sense, in a patriotic sense, in an ideological sense, it was the spark that led to true liberation for the people of Cuba. The leadership survived, but more importantly, the ideals of the Cuban Revolution survived. And 5 years, 5 months and 5 days after, I believe, the M26 movement drove triumphantly through the streets of Havana, and the Cuban Revolution was well on its way. 233 years ago today, Simon Bolivar came to this earth, and through his revolutionary action and the same ideology and necessity that powered Fidel Castro 63 years ago, was able to liberate a large chunk of humanity in Latin and South America. His ideals, his political and military prowess, his sense of social conscience and sense of right and wrong are ideals which are cultivated in the minds of all the great revolutionaries in human history. As we celebrate him today, we cannot forget that 171 years later, on July 24, 1954, his ideological successor in Venezuela was born and sought to unite those that Simon Bolivar had freed so many years before in a new revolution, a new liberation. And those ideals spread throughout Latin America and proved to be a major thorn in the sides of the new hegemony in this region and indeed the world. It is important that we celebrate, comrades, celebrate and understand the significance of July 26th and July 24th. Because these events are those watershed periods in our lives where the human condition is improved, that tyranny is challenged, and that we celebrate the progress and the benefits coming out of these kinds of activities. The Cuban Revolution, powered by the commitment to improve the lives of ordinary citizens of Cuba and indeed the world, has spawned over 65,000 medical professionals, which the Cuban people have shared with the rest of the world. It has liberated itself in a real sense. It has liberated the Horn of South Africa, not only with ideology, human blood, Cuba sent 40,000 people down there and liberated Rhodesia, Namibia, Mozambique, South Africa. The Western media doesn't pay much attention to the critical role that the Cuban Revolution has played in liberating South Africa. In terms of what has happened in Latin America itself, this revolution has inspired the new Bolivarian Republic, and through Hugo Chavez, millions of people have been freed and liberated from traditional tyranny and oppression, poverty, and poor health. So this is a significant celebration. We in the Trinidad and Tobago Friends of Cuba salute the Cuban Revolution. We salute the Bolivarian Revolution, the Bolivarian Republic, and we are committed to improving the friendship between the peoples of Cuba and the Caribbean, and Venezuela and the Caribbean. In fact, we share a common history. And just a few minutes ago, while we were celebrating the birth of the Simon Bolivar on the Paris Promenade in San Fernando, we recalled that Trinidad and Venezuela are one, not just sharing a common history, but we also were part of Venezuela until a cataclysmic earthquake separated us 10 millennia ago. So we share a lot of commonalities, and therefore these commonalities must work in the interests of the peoples of both countries. Without any further ado, I will invite the President of the Trinidad and Tobago Friends of Cuba, Comrade Clyde Callender, to give us some remarks and thoughts on this significant celebration. Welcome, Clyde, with a lusty round of applause.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. On behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Friends of Cuba, I want to welcome all here this afternoon. I want to welcome those at the table who will speak to us in a while, and to all friends of Cuba and you Cubans gathered here this afternoon. It is because of you and your stance 63 years ago, we are proud to be here with you because of what you as a people have done over the years. For the stand that you took in defending the revolution. So my chairman, our chairman, went through some parts of the history as to what took place over the years. But I want to also say that we are very sorry that our Venezuelan ambassador could not stay with us here this afternoon. She a very, very person and strong person because of the celebration in San Fernando this morning. She is not very well. And she came down, she came here, but had to leave because of a condition. To continue her duties. I just wrote a few things, and I did not go into all the historic information and development that took place over the last 63 years. But has have some concerns for this present time. So I'm going to read part of what I wrote. And I want to say again, pleasant afternoon to all gathered. As we gather here today, the 24th July, to celebrate our Cuban friends and comrades who are at this time giving service to our country as they are doing in so many countries. This is the 63rd anniversary of the Moncada barracks attack led by Fidel Castro. In July 26, 1953. This led to a complete change. The revolution had begun. The United States, this also led to the most vicious attack on the Cuban people over the years by the United States and their supporters. The imposition of the blockade, the taking of Guantanamo, the jail, the Cuban Five, many more actions could be named. But you as a people held fast. You did not give up. You did as a people everything in your power to maintain the revolution. Within the last 2 years, we have witnessed the softening of relations by the United States. But two of the most important aspects have not yet been solved. That is the complete lifting of the embargo and the return of the property Guantanamo. We are demanding that these must be done and done soon. There is a presidential election to be had soon in the United States, soon in America. Which one of the parties will win, we cannot tell. It is a concern that isolationist policies will continue. With all that have been done thus far, they have not given up on those policies. We are hearing the concerns of your President Raul Castro and the very hard economic times that is facing the country. Venezuela is not able to maintain its full supply of petroleum to the country of which it depends. Electricity supply to the country is a major concern, along with transportation. Comrades in writing also on all these moves made by the United States, I warned about the Trojan horse approach by the US. Today, I warn again. Today, and she's not here, I said we have the ambassador of Venezuela with us, and we are fully aware what is taking place in that country and the US role in the attempt to crush the Bolivarian revolution. Their isolationists are at work. Today, Sunday 24th July, is the most historic day in the life of the Venezuelan people. And it's the 233rd birthday of Simeon Bolivar, that great liberator. The one who brought about revolutionary changes in Venezuela and throughout the Americas. We also say happy birthday. I had put a little piece here that we had hoped that we have some representative here, that they would give us some ideas of what is now happening in Venezuela. Comrades, Cuba and Venezuela needs our solidarity more than ever now. Let us never ever turn our backs on them. And as you say, as the revolution continues, our Luther continues. Thank you, God.
Thank you, Comrade Colander, for your insightful remarks We are now going to invite to the podium to address Comrade Alex Gonzalez, a representative from the Cuban Embassy, and he will give an overview of today's celebration. Welcome him again with a lusty round of applause.
Buenas tardes a todos. Ante todo quiero agradecer la presencia con nosotros de los compañeros Clyde Canter y Peter Burke, presidente y vicepresidente de la Asociación de Solidaridad Amigos de Cuba en Trinidad y Tobago, otros miembros de la organización presentes, a la cual aprovecho en nombre de la misión estatal de Cuba para agradecer nuevamente el invaluable apoyo a las luchas del pueblo y la revolución cubana. Estimado Hollis, líderes sindicales y de movimientos políticos presentes hoy, hermanos y hermanas trinitarias que nos acompañan en tan importante acto para los cubanos y que sienten como suyas las victorias sociales de la revolución cubana. Estimada Marta Palacios, representante de la Embajada de la República Bolivariana de Venezuela, venezolanos, todos que nos honran con su presencia. Queridos compatriotas, estimados colaboradores de la salud, la farmacéutica, el deporte, fieles representantes ante el pueblo de Trinidad y Tobago de los valores de solidaridad y humanismo inculcados por la Revolución Cubana.
Good afternoon all. Dear Clyde Calendar and Isabel, President and Vice President of Trinidad and Tobago, Friends of Cuba, members present of the organization, which again I take the opportunity on behalf of the State Mission of Cuba to thank them for their invaluable support for the struggles of the people of the Cuban Revolution. Trinidadian brothers and sisters who join us in such an important event for Cubans and feel as their own the social victories of the Cuban Revolution. The Ambassador of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Godoy, members of the Embassy and the other Venezuelans who honor us with their presence. Their compatriots, their health, pharmaceutical and sport collaborators, faithful representatives to the people of Trinidad and Tobago of the values of solidarity and humanism instilled by the Cuban Revolution.
En lo que ya podemos calificar como una tradición para los miembros de la misión estatal cubana y los amigos de la solidaridad trinitaria, nos reunimos una vez más en esta sede para conmemorar los asaltos a los cuarteles militares a los Manuel de Céspedes y Moncada, un 26 de julio de 1953. Recordemos que en la Cuba del 53 reinaba un cuadro de opresión, miseria y desigualdad. Por aquel entonces, la esperanza de vida de los cubanos no sobrepasaba los 60 años. Imperaba el tiempo muerto, el desempleo masivo, el desalojo de los campesinos de las tierras en que trabajaban, un alto grado de analfabetismo. Gran parte de la población no contaba con posibilidades de acceder a la escuela o al médico. La banca, los mayores centrales azucareros, las principales industrias y más de la mitad de las mejores tierras de producción cultivables estaban en manos extranjeras.
It has become a tradition for Cubans and Cubans' friends to meet in this place to commemorate the acts on the military barracks Carlos Manuel de Céspedes and Moncada on July 26, 1953. It should be recalled that in the Cuba of 1953 reigned a picture of oppression, misery and inequality. At that time, life expectancy of Cubans did not exceed 60 years. Temporary work, mass unemployment, eviction of peasants from the lands where they worked, a high degree of illiteracy. Much of the population had no access possibilities to school or to the doctor. Banking, large sugar plants, major industries and more than half of the best productive land were in foreign hands.
Ante aquella situación, un grupo de jóvenes encabezados por Fidel y Raúl, guiados por las ideas del apóstol, decidieron poner fin a tanta ignominia con el asalto al cuartel Moncada. Aquel 26 de julio no resultó, como sabemos, un triunfo de las armas, pero fue una victoria de la moral y la dignidad. Fue la chispa que encendió nuevamente el motor que nos llevaría justamente 5 años, 5 meses y 5 días después a alcanzar la verdadera y definitiva independencia. Ese día los cubanos fuimos consecuentes con los versos vibrantes del himno nacional y con el ejemplo de quien fue el autor intelectual de la acción. A partir de 1959, a pesar de las campañas mediáticas, cruentos bloqueos, amenazas, agresiones, terrorismo de todo tipo y de la escasez de recursos propia de un país pobre y subdesarrollado, la revolución logró transformar la triste realidad que caracterizaba a nuestro pequeño archipiélago hasta 1959. Han pasado 57 años y los logros y valores humanos alcanzados por el pueblo y su revolución son innegables, incluso para sus más férreos enemigos. Ustedes, médicos, farmacéuticos, deportistas, técnicos de diversas especialidades, son uno de los ejemplos más fehacientes de la obra revolucionaria, en lo que respecta no solo a los niveles de profesionalismo y calidad logrados con su sistema de educación, sino a los valores de solidaridad e internacionalismo del pueblo cubano.
Given that situation, a group of young people, led by Fidel and Raul, guided by the ideas of Jose Marti, decided to end such ignominy with the assault on the Moncada barracks. It did not result in a triumph of arms, but it was a moral victory. It was the spark that ignited the engine that would take us 5 years, 5 months, and 5 days to achieve the true and definitive independence. That day, Cubans were consistent with the vibrant verses of the national anthem and the living thought of the national hero and apostle of the Cuban independence, Jose Marti. Since 1959, despite media campaigns, fierce blockades, threats, aggression, terrorism of all kinds, and the scarcity of resources, typical of a poor and underdeveloped country, the revolution managed to transform the sad reality ruling in Cuba until 1959. It is 63 years since Moncada, and the achievements and human values reached by the Cuban people and their revolution are undeniable, even for its fiercest enemies. You, doctors, pharmacists, athletes, technicians of various specialties, are one of the most convincing examples of revolution with regard not only to levels of professionalism and quality achieved with its education system, but values of solidarity and internationalism of the Cuban people.
Seguridad social, justicia social, sistemas de educación y salud pública de primer nivel son conquistas que los cubanos que hemos tenido la posibilidad de conocer otros pueblos y circunstancias apreciamos mucho más. Recordemos en todo momento que los combatientes del Moncada tenían esas conquistas como metas y objetivos. Muchos sabían que no saldrían con vida de esa contienda, pero el hecho de imaginar que era posible revertir la situación existente en 1959 los impulsaba a tan heroico acto. Nosotros hoy sabemos que esas metas son posibles. La hemos alcanzado por liderazgo, sacrificio, tenacidad y heroísmo. Nuestro Moncada está en batallar por preservar esas conquistas contra los mismos enemigos de la revolución, pero ahora con nuevas estrategias y modalidades, dirigidas a crear desidia, ignorancia, enajenación, egoísmo, ambiciones personales y otros conceptos y comportamientos ajenos al pensamiento socialista y valores como la solidaridad y el internacionalismo. Nuestro Moncada es afianzar el progreso hacia la actualización del modelo y la construcción de un socialismo próspero, sostenible e irreversible en Cuba, el cual deberá lograrse preservando y potenciando los principios de justicia e igualdad que han servido de base a la revolución.
Social justice, social security, education systems, and public health of first level are achievements that Cubans who have had the opportunity to meet other people and circumstances appreciate more. It should be recalled that Moncada fighters considered those achievements as goals and objectives. Many of them knew that may not survive the action, but the fact of imaging it may be possible to reverse the situation in 1959 drove them to such a heroic act. We today know that these goals are possible. We have achieved them with leadership, sacrifice, tenacity, and heroism. Our Moncada is the struggle to preserve these social achievements against the same historical enemies of the revolution. who now use new strategies and methods aimed at creating a party, ignorance, alienation, selfishness, personal ambition, and other concepts and behaviors outside the socialist thought and values such as solidarity and internationalism. Our Moncada is to strengthen our progress, updating the social and economic model, and building a prosperous, sustainable, and irreversible socialism in Cuba, which should be achieved while preserving and strengthening the principles of justice and equality, the foundations of the revolution.
Como ha expresado el compañero Fidel, cito, una revolución de los humildes y para los humildes, con una innegable obra social construida, jamás encontrará solución a sus problemas de espaldas al pueblo y con la restauración del capitalismo, que conllevaría la aplicación de las terapias de choques a las capas de la población con menos recursos y destruiría la unidad y la confianza de la mayoría de nuestros ciudadanos en torno a la revolución y al partido.
As was expressed by Fidel, I quote, "A revolution of the humble and for the humble with an undeniable social will never find a solution to their problems behind the backs of its people, nor with the restoration of capitalism, which would lead to the application of shock therapies that will impact on the most vulnerable layers of population and destroy the unity and confidence of the majority of our citizens in the revolution and the party."
Coincide esta jornada de celebración con otros hechos históricos de trascendencia enorme para América Latina y en especial para nuestro hermano pueblo de Venezuela. Hace hoy 233 años nació un hombre al cual nuestro apóstol José Martí admiró profundamente, que refiriéndose a él en una ocasión expresó que todos los latinoamericanos lo deberíamos ver como un padre. Me refiero por supuesto al libertador Simón Bolívar, precursor de la independencia de los pueblos latinoamericanos y uno de los grandes próceres que inspiró al maestro en su obra tanto patriótica como literaria. También el mes de julio, pero en el año 1954, nos trajo otro gigante venezolano y latinoamericano. Me refiero al comandante Hugo Chávez, que cumpliría 62 años el próximo 28 de julio. Sirva este acto entre cubanos, venezolanos y trinitarios para rendir tributo a estos dos colosos de la lucha por la independencia y la integración latinoamericana.
These days of celebration coincide with other historical events of great importance for Latin America, and especially for our sister nation of Venezuela. 233 years ago was born a man whom our apostle Jose Marti admired deeply, and referring to him on one occasion said that all Latin Americans should see him as a father. I refer, of course, to the liberator Simón Bolívar, precursor of the independence of Latin American countries, and one of the great heroes that inspired Marti in his patriotic and literary work. In these days of July, but the year 1954, was born another Venezuelan and Latin American giant, the commander Hugo Chavez. This act is also a tribute of Cuban, Venezuelan, and Trinidadian to these two giants of the struggle for independence and integration in Latin America.
Compañeros, la independencia y la justicia social en América Latina y el Caribe están hoy amenazados por una nueva contraofensiva imperialista y fuerzas oligárquicas que tienen el propósito de restaurar una política neoliberal que traería consecuencias funestas para nuestros pueblos. El momento es por ello propicio para reiterar la incondicional solidaridad con el hermano pueblo venezolano, con el gobierno legítimo del presidente Nicolás Maduro Moros y con la revolución bolivariana, iniciada por el comandante Hugo Chávez Frías, que enfrentan con firmeza la embestida desestabilizadora y la guerra económica y mediática de quienes pretenden barrer las conquistas políticas, sociales y económicas que han beneficiado a millones de ciudadanos que durante siglos vivieron en condiciones de pobreza, injusticia y desigualdad.
Comrades, independence and social justice in Latin America and the Caribbean are now threatened by a new imperialist counter-offensive and oligarchic forces, which are intended to restore a neoliberal policy, which would bring dire consequences for our people. Therefore, the time is right to reiterate the unconditional solidarity with the fraternal Venezuelan people, with the legitimate government of President Nicolás Maduro Moros and the Bolivarian revolution initiated by Commander Hugo Chavez, facing firmly the destabilizing onslaught and economic war and media of those who seek sweeping political, social and economic gains that have benefited millions of citizens who for centuries lived in poverty, injustice and inequality.
Finalmente, rindámosle tributo a todos aquellos que cayeron ofrendando sus vidas para hacer realidad este sueño de la revolución cubana. Inspirados en el ejemplo de Moncada, no nos queda otra salida que seguir luchando cada día hasta el último aliento con la patria, con la revolución y con el socialismo.
Finally, let's pay tribute to those who fell by offering their lives to realize this dream of the Cuban Revolution. Inspired by the example of Moncada, we have no other way to keep fighting every day until the last breath with the homeland, the revolution and socialism.
¡Vivan Fidel y Raúl! ¡Viva! ¡Viva la unidad entre los pueblos de América Latina y el Caribe! ¡Viva! Muchas gracias.
Shonda, could you just come back? I think we can do better than that for that address by Comrade Alex. I just want to recognize the lovely translator. Her name is Shonda Williams, and she is also a product of the Cuban education system. She studied engineering in Cuba, and she's now serving the people of Trinidad and Tobago because of the opportunity that the Cuban Revolution gave to us. So on behalf of all those students who have studied in Cuba and have come back and served with distinction, we want to thank the Cuban Revolution from the bottom of our hearts. Okay, we talked about Shonda and studying in Cuba and so on. But what Cubans are known for a lot of things. The music, the culture. In modern times, their medical prowess in the field of medicine. And we have, throughout the world, Cuban, what you call medical brigades. And they have improved the lives of so many citizens in the third world that it is important that we pay special homage to the local brigade today. And we want you all to give yourselves a tremendous round of applause. But something made this possible. That raid on Moncada barracks, which led to military, social, political, and economic success, was sparked by that bold step by Fidel Castro and his band of revolutionaries. What we are going to do now is to show a documentary celebrating that historic event of July 26, 1953. So if you direct yourselves to the
Y en este sentido había mucho de influencia marciana. Se sabe lo mejor del esfuerzo de vida. La única salida que había a la independencia de Cuba era la lucha armada frente a las corrientes reformistas y las corrientes autonomistas.
Interesting documentary which outlined the actual aftermath of the raid on the Moncada barracks, where we saw the amnesty being granted to Fidel Castro, and they were able to regroup, and 5 years, 5 months and 5 days after, they were successful. We will want to now have an address by Dr. Rodolfo Arozarena, representative of the Cuban Medical Brigade.
This is a moment to change the rhythm of the activity, because we are holding the 26th of July, that, as you know, as Moncada song said, 26th of July is a happiness day of the Cuban history. And Obana Portuondo, in other song, said that July always is July 26th. Now, we want to, en behalf of Cuban Brigade, Cuban Sport Brigade, and Cuban Medical Brigade, we want to remember the day, mentioning and telling that the Cuban doctors, nurses, pharmacists, specialized doctors are present in other parts of the country in Trinidad and Tobago. In a public sector institution in Trinidad and Tobago, Mayaro, Toco, Point 14, Rio Claro, Sangre Grande, among other distant places of this country. Since 1959, Cuba has commemorating the July 26th as a victory. And all of you know that today is a national day, National Rebellion Day. Then I would like to call to a group of Cuban, part of the Cuban Brigade that has finishing now, and we will give the certificate because they have finished 2 years of the hard work in this country, in our country. And after, we will talk about the certificate of the more distinguished people in the world for each brigade, and the most developed, la más destacada, the most distinguished brigade in the country. Now, I will call one by one in order to receive to brigade. Let's to give an sporty club, and we'll at the end we'll do a picture with all of them, and we give a big cloud as a recognize of his work in this country. First, Carlos Tomás Armentero. Seguimos en español porque esto es muy cubano. Iliana Arcia. Si no está Iliana, que vengan los representantes de su brigada, por favor. Vamos, bien.
Bueno, el beso es para mí porque Iliana no está.
Dice Roddy que repartió el almuerzo antes para que me lo dieran fuerte, pero no, pero estoy ensayando. Ahora con la próxima vamos Viene Olga Fredis Lazo. Bien, queda mejor. San Fernando, Olga Fredis. ¿Alguien de San Fernando? Bien.
Good.
Higher.
Like this?
Yeah. Gracias.
Sangre Grande, Andisley, Cuba. Bien. Ya. Seguimos con este servidor, Wilber Matos. Continuamos con Carlos Ramos. Vamos, aplaudo la gente de Sangre Grande. Estos son los compañeros que van terminando su misión en 2 años. Como decíamos, queremos cuando termine toda la actividad hacer una foto con todos ellos acá. Seguimos con un compañero de trabajo, de casa, un excelente enfermero. Estamos hablando de Marlon González Suárez. Y no por ser el último deja de ser el más importante. Estamos hablando de una gente que se ha dejado querer durante su trabajo acá en la brigada médica. Es perseguido por las mujeres, como dice, por su labor. Y estamos hablando de Gabriel González Jiménez. Por los ginecólogos que vayan. Sí.
Cuídense que me voy.
Y ahora, bueno, ya finalizando el grupo de los compañeros que termina su misión en el 2.º año, está la compañera Yolanda Velázquez, doctora en glaucoma. Bueno, ahora pasamos rápidamente con chispa a los más destacados. ¿Dónde está el grupo de compañeros de Puerto España? No, eso no soy yo. Puerto España, ¿dónde está? Bueno, toca el turno de mencionar al destacado de Puerto España. Y estamos hablando de un compañero que se ha destacado acá por su integralidad y por su trabajo. Fue escogido entre los trabajadores de Puerto España y estamos hablando de ese grande, no por su tamaño, sino por su corazón y toda la actividad que despliega, Felipe Archival. José Felipe. ¿Dónde están los compañeros Sangre Grande? Sangre Grande. A ver, Sangre Grande en ese pequeño pero aguerrido grupo de trabajadores seleccionó a Wilber Matos. Seguimos. Llegó el turno a San Fernando, donde estamos. San Fernando tiene dos grupos dentro de su brigada. San Fernando 1. ¿Dónde está la gente de San Fernando 1? Pero fuerte. Bueno, San Fernando 1 escoge a Karina Garcés como la más destacada de su brigada. No importa, estamos representando. San Fernando 2. ¿Dónde está la gente de San Fernando 2? ¿Dónde está la gente de San Fernando 2? Ahí sabemos que está ahí. San Fernando 2 escoge a la doctora Yolanda Velázquez. Ahora una peculiaridad, viene Tobago, pero la representación de Tobago hace la actividad en su región. La va a recoger Javier, miembro del grupo de trabajo del partido en Trinidad y Tobago, y la seleccionada fue Yelis Gutiérrez. Eres el más cerca, hermano.
Ahora vienes tú, no te puedes dar.
Bueno, ya que no se quiere anunciar, en la región Eric William, ¿no almorzaron los de Eric William tampoco? ¿Dónde están? Oh, ¿qué pasa? Cariñosamente llamado, ¿lo digo o no lo digo? No lo voy a decir porque después le dicen Ruperto Rodolfo Arrozarena.
Nos queda la brigada deportiva, es decir, no pertenecer a la parte médica, siempre la reconocemos entre nosotros, tienen un excelente trabajo, casi todos están terminando ahora como conocen, y el destacado fue Mardonis Martín Marén. Y ahora le toca el turno a la mejor región. Ya deben estar. ¿Dónde está Puerto España? No, pero tiene que sonar. ¡Eh! La mejor región se va a dar por los aplausos, así que imagínense. 1, 2, 3. La mejor región. ¿Dónde está Puerto España? ¿Sangre grande? No, vamos a pasar a que sea Roy, el coordinador de la brigada, quien entregue este premio y que bueno, sabemos que el trabajo ha sido intenso durante todo el año, pero bueno, siempre hay una emulación por la cual nos hemos...
Bueno, 3 regiones en una emulación muy reñida se han merecido el reconocimiento, pero siempre una es la más destacada. ¿Quiénes creen ustedes que sea? La mejor región es Eric Williams. Hay que reconocer el trabajo de Puerto España y de Tobago, que por poco te quitan el galardón.
Ya, este hermoso reconocimiento fue recibido en nombre de todos los colaboradores de la Brigada Médica de Trinidad y Tobago por el trabajo desplegado en el periodo 2015-2016, año en que nos encontramos. Rodi nos decía de tratar de no hacer ver que tratar de resaltar el trabajo colectivo. Yo pienso que es así. Hemos reconocido los más destacados, pero sabemos que como revolucionarios hay muchos destacados dentro de toda la Brigada Médica Cubana. Yo reconozco que parte de esta labor ha sido dada por la exigencia de nuestro coordinador, y no es guataquería, es el esfuerzo que ha realizado el doctor Rodi Cervantes, así como el apoyo de todos ustedes que han hecho que este reconocimiento tenga un valor no solo en la pared donde se va a poner, sino en el corazón de nosotros por el trabajo desplegado. Queremos entregarle formalmente a Rodi, coordinador de nuestra brigada, este hermoso reconocimiento que dice: a la Brigada Médica Cubana en Trinidad y Tobago por su destacada labor en el cumplimiento de los objetivos de trabajo durante el periodo 2015-2016. No se puede hablar de solidaridad en el seno de un pueblo si no se crea al mismo tiempo la solidaridad entre todos los pueblos. Fidel Castro. Merece un aplauso.
Ese es el trabajo de todos ustedes. Gracias.
Okay, can we give all the medical and sporting members of the medical and sporting brigades another lusty round of applause for service well done? We want to invite our lovely musical trio to entertain us.
I would like to introduce my part of my family. She is my niece. Her name is
Betsy.
Leonis Betsy, and she is my daughter. Her name is Yelenis y Betsy. Tengo el placer de presentarlas y para mí es un orgullo y un placer estar aquí con ustedes. Ellas también tocan violín. Hoy no es mi turno, el turno es para ellas. Ellas van a regalarle dos hermosas piezas a violín que a mí particularmente me agrada muchísimo. Primeramente van a interpretar La Bella Cubana y después On My Way, a mi manera. Escuchen con atención porque espero que lo van a disfrutar. regalado el gran privilegio de ser brillantes. Hay que decir que son brillantes porque cuando salí por primera vez a cumplir misión al estado de Qatar, mi hija no sabía ni abrir la caja de violín. Y tuve el placer y el privilegio de que se me graduara este año con 100 puntos, con felicitaciones y la mejor graduada del año. Realmente es un placer. Han tenido el placer ellas y el privilegio de tocar con la gran camerata Romeo en varias oportunidades, cada vez que han hecho alguna gira por el centro del país, han hecho algunas grabaciones para el exterior. Es decir, me siento un padre realmente orgulloso y que ese orgullo que siento yo también lo pueda disfrutar. Muchas gracias.
These young women, another round of applause. We haven't broken the speeches and the documentaries with this brilliant cultural include. We will now ask Comrade Ozzy Warwick, who wears many hats in the movement. He is first and foremost the Education Research Officer of the UWTU. He is also a trustee on the executive of the UWTU. He is secretary to the Joint Trade Union Movement. He is secretary to the MSJ and has blazed the trails in recent years in the movement. Today, he's going to bring greetings on behalf of the OWTU to this 63rd Moncada celebrations. Please welcome Ozzy with a rousing round of applause.
Chairman of this very important celebration, Comrade Peter Burke. The charge de affairs of the Cuban embassy, my brother, friend and comrade, Alexis. President of the Trinidad and Tobago Friends of Cuba, longtime brother, friend and comrade of course, Comrade Clyde Calendar. Representative of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, here in Trinidad and Tobago, representing Her Excellency. We have with her sister and comrade Marta Palacio. And of course, no stranger, friend to all of you all. I am speaking here of none other than representative of the Medical Brigade, Dr. Rodolfo Sarena. I got it? Compañeros, compañeras, hermanos y hermanas, mi familia de Cuba, buenas tardes. Mis palabras hoy, yo voy a estar muy corto, mi palabra simple, porque nosotros queremos celebrar, ¿no? Nosotros estamos aquí para celebrar, ¿ok? Claro que sí. On the 26th of July, 1953, a great journey began. It was the journey of the Cuban people. The journey that will see the freedom, liberation, and true independence of Cuba. That journey that began in 1953 was a light to so many millions of people who would have decided to fight against oppression, against exploitation, against colonialism. So many freedom fighters, so many believers in a different world, a better world, all inspired by a group of young men and women who dared to challenge the Batista regime. And for that, mis hermanos y hermanas, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias por Fidel Castro, por la revolución de Cuba, por ustedes, aquí en Trinidad, ayudando. The symbolism is so important for all of us, especially the poor and downtrodden, because it gave us the opportunity to see that it is possible. It is possible for there to be victory for the people, as it was victory for the Cuban people, victory for the Caribbean people. That day which began the revolution of Cuba has culminated indeed in 1959 with the victory of the Cuban people. And for that, we thank you. Muchas gracias. But it did not end there. Throughout the entire life of the Cuban Revolution, you continue to be a light to the world. You continue to show that it is not hatred, but solidarity that builds people. You send out doctors and nurses all across the world to help people, every nook and cranny of this planet. The Cuban Revolution, therefore, is not only in Cuba. The Cuban Revolution is in the entire world. And we have benefited. You have become our family. And it is indeed always a pleasure to host, to be here to bring solidarity at this very important event on behalf of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, the Movement for Social Justice, the Joint Trade Union Movement. We bring solidarity to you to express our deepest, heartfelt thanks for giving us a sense of dignity, for giving us a sense of possibility, a possibility that we can indeed free ourselves from the shackles of imperialism and capitalism, which continues to attempt to destroy our societies, our nation, our people. But from time to time, we can look towards the Cuban Revolution and remind ourselves, just as that group of young people decided to challenge the dictatorship of Batista, we too can challenge the dictatorship of imperialism and capitalism. Thank you for giving us that courage, that strength, that belief. Muchas gracias por todo. Muchas gracias por su revolución. Muchas gracias por su solidaridad. And in closing, mi palabra es corta. All that is left for me to say now, as we celebrate this important day, all that is left for me to say is Viva Fidel! Viva! Viva la Revolución! Viva! Viva Trinidad y Tobago! Viva! 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 As we will always. Hasta bien, Victoria. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Give us here another round of applause. You communicated in both languages so effectively. The next item on the agenda is a compilation of poems done by a member of the executive of the Trinidad and Tobago Friends of Cuba. And Comrade Martin Jerome is going to do a poem on San Diego. Tobago, and a second poem, Ode Fidelito. Please welcome Comrade Martin Gerald.
Well, I've done this poem before, but in the light of election gambling in the US, I think it is important for me to remind myself and others and pay attention to what is happening, because when the revolution started in Santiago and what Fidel has done for us. Yes? It is entitled Ode, Fidel. Fidelito, liberator, educator, freedom fighter, caregiver. You are the present future. There is not another system of governance on this earth which is as fair and equitable as those that exist in your famous country. The battle of ideas for social togetherness to live in harmony has been with mankind for a long time. But now, your ideas will survive and prevail for a very long, long time. Don't matter what capitalists say of these days. When a selfless mind takes deep views of all that existed before, make and do all comparisons for ruling mankind throughout history, this system is not as exploitative as others. Hats off, Fidelito Ruiz Castro. Well done, Comandante. Castro, leader of leaders, the maestro. You have shown the world what man can do for the common good to benefit all in one's own country. Salutations, Fidelito, Comandante. Salutation is fully deserved. You are #1 leader of this century. Although with embargo and other foolish, petty, malicious utterance of the devilish United States, you have managed your country well. You have survived all the negatives thrown at various junctures from and by other detractors on a system of governance. Stand tall, Comandante, Jefe of Jefes. More than a bow, more than thank you for educating, more than instilling consciousness in fair-minded people. You have shown us that we in the Caribbean can survive with little or no help from the USA and their cohorts. Embargo has taught us to be creative, to be self-reliant, to be each other's keeper, to be patriotic, to be proud of being independent, to be in control of one's birthright, to be able to ward off greed, to be able to ward off wantonness. Aye, aye, Comandante. You sent help when disaster occurred without asking anything in return, before nor after. First responder in time of need. Medical care is as important as feed. Modern man must look within. Fidel Castro helped to cut out sin. Take comfort, O great leader, that there are and will be others following in your footsteps. This life can be better lived without all the hardships placed by the imperialist system. Keep heart, big brother. Viva, viva your ideology. It brings systematic equity, trust, fairness, and honesty. Fidelito, Fidelito, Fidelito. After visiting Santiago, yes? And all is different to me is, I couldn't understand Spanish, but I know when I'm hungry, to go to the bathroom and to get things to change clothes, yes? It is Santiago, Cuba. Santiago, Santiago. Is it the same sun that shines in my homeland? Is it the same heat that burns the sun? Is it the same wind that blows in all directions? Is it the same tide that ebbs and flows to the shore? Is it the same music that plays night and day? is it in my imagination? Santiago, Santiago, you sit not still since my arrival many, many hours ago. Is there no stillness for the night? Is there no stillness during daylight? Is there no stillness in the shop? Is there no stillness when music stops? Is there no stillness in the hub of my imagination? Santiago, Santiago, your food is first class, but yet I fast. Drinks are cheap, but not quench my sip. Sweet aroma pervades the air, but my taste buds do not share. Suckling pigs, so temptatious, blending in maize before us. Shades of fruit and punches too, all together, splendid view. Sure, tickles my imagination. Santiago, Santiago, time rushes at your feet, where different cultures all others meet, topside down or downside up. There is no basement but on a rooftop. Some sit in couches, beautiful chairs. You, my love, kitchenwares. Pets are happy, one can see. Dogs, birds, cats, those big with tails curly. This fancies my imagination. Santiago, Santiago, is it the same moon that hangs out yonder? Is it the same stars I see? Is it the same clouds that pass asunder? Is it the same rains to be? Is it the same lightning with thunder? Is it the same mountainous greenery? Is it the same water that runs in a river valley? Is it in my imagination? Santiago, Santiago, I do question your kind, with all that goes in mind. Memories are to find, stretched ages in a line. Sit not, or you may pine. Work is done, no axe to grind. Every iota on one's mind. This image of my imagination, Santiago, Santiago. Thank you very much.
That was a very two lovely pieces by Comrade Martin Jerome, Executive Member of the Friends of Cuba. In recent decades, the closeness between the Cuban people and the Bolivarian Republic has been obvious for all to see. Today is a special day for the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. 24th of July marks the birthday of Comrade Hugo Chavez, and also we have celebrated today as well the 233rd anniversary of birth of Simon Bolivar. We have today, in the absence of the Ambassador Cormuto Godoy, representative of the Venezuelan Embassy, Comrade Martha Palacios, to bring greetings on this important day. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Thank you for Conrad's, Dr. Ozzy, Alex, the representative of the Association of Trinidad and Tobago, Friends of Cuba. Gracias a ustedes, hermanos y hermanas de Cuba, que siempre nos invitan en este día tan importante, esta conmemoración tan significativa. Como dijeron mis antecesores, es un día muy importante para Venezuela. Nosotros también conmemoramos al padre de la patria, a Simón Bolívar, y recordamos al comandante Hugo Chávez. Sabemos y compartimos con los hermanos cubanos también en la celebración de todos los 26 de julio. Recordamos al comandante Fidel Castro, al presidente Raúl Castro y a todos los cubanos. Es un reconocimiento bien merecido, el de todos los médicos enfermeras y enfermeros, a los de la Brigada Deportiva por su labor. Y recordamos en el mes de julio a ambos pueblos, a los revolucionarios, pero también a ustedes que también son revolucionarios no solo por los valores, sino por la vida que tocan, a la gente que atienden, a la gente que ayudan y les revolucionan la vida, les cambian la vida, no solo aquí en Trinidad, en muchos países y también en Venezuela. Muchas gracias. Gracias por esta invitación. Gracias nuevamente a la Embajada de Cuba. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Comrade Hollis. We have had a very, very good formal part so far. We have 2 more items of two more cultural performances. One being a trio of stringed instruments, and of course, the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago. But on a day like today, where we celebrate an important milestone in the history of Latin America, we must also pay attention to the cultural aspects. We are hoping that as we meet the challenges identified by Comrade Alex, new challenges, that we remember that within the revolution, we are bonded together culturally, historically, and socially. Ready? So I'd like to introduce a trio of string instruments to entertain us.
Bien quiero, ¿verdad? Nos conocimos casi ahora y creo que hemos disfrutado una linda música. Muchas gracias.
Es que realmente con Cuba no hay que conocerse. Nosotros vamos a Cuba, así de sencillo. Eso es así. Y el mejor regalo que se le puede obsequiar a un cubano fuera de su país es tocar esto, Lágrimas Negras y la comparsa. Esos son himnos de Cuba. Muchas gracias. Vamos a finalizar con una canción venezolana que se llama Moliendo Café. Me acompañan Michael Germain en el bajo, Tommy Thompson en el cuatro y Clarita Rivas. Ellos son de acá de Trinidad, pero también aman la música cubana y la música venezolana.
On this special day for the Bolivarian Republic, we want to honor the representative of the Venezuelan embassy by offering a small token of appreciation. And I will now invite President Clifton and Comrade Marco Hollis so that we can show our appreciation to them. Right, this is a plaque in commemoration of the occasion of the 233rd anniversary of the birth of Simon Bolivar. Right, and the President of the Trinidad and Tobago Friends of Cuba is now going to present Comrade Palacios this plaque in commemoration of this special day. Right, so thank you very much. I will now call on Mr. Clifton to perform on the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago. Please welcome him.
la ensalada fría al final, pueden ir comiendo.
Tengo ganas de besarte, de yo me lo controlamos. Me dice que la toque, que no le sin la abrace, que en la cama la despedace. A mí me dice al oído una pila de frase, mami qué rico tú lo haces.